Sup? Man, I think, well, at the end of UFC 91, we have a new champion. I mean, Brock Lesnar, like I said, I congratulate him on, taking MMA seriously, taking advantage of the opportunities given him and, defeating, defeating the best heavyweight champion of all time. You can't take that away from him. I mean, people talk about his size. Who cares? He made weight. But I think the real story of UFC 91 has just been, the story of the contenders right here. I mean, not just from UFC 91, but from UFC 90. I mean, you got guys like Georges St. Pierre and BJ Penn. They're set to battle, I think, in January 31st or so. This is a big super fight, a big opportunity for the UFC, and it's going to be a big opportunity for whoever wins that fight. I know. I think when I was responding to a video from my boy Karsten, it was a question, what about, Kenny Florian? What about Thiago Alves? What about the top contenders, who are waiting for their title shot? I mean, BJ Penn he jumps ahead of Thiago Alves and puts Kenny Florian on hold by challenging Georges St. Pierre. I think that particular thing right there is an argument for another day, but basically, this is a fight people want to see. And since before then, let me see. The top contenders in the welterweight class and the and the lightweight class are John Fitch and Sean Shirk respectively. Those two guys dominated the number one contenders right now. They John Fitch, he beat up Thiago Alves, and Sean Shirk dominated Kenny Florian. Those two guys, I mean, they got knocked back, but they started winning again. I mean, and they put themselves back in position for another title shot. However, around the time that the Georges St. Pierre fight was made and against BJ Penn, Thiago and Kenny, I mean, yeah, they did deserve a title shot. However, they were not taken seriously as threats to the title. I mean, they just got beat by the number one contenders that, the two titleists just beat. So why should we, take time out of our day to give them a title shot? Well,
mail is what you have.
Mail is what they had. They delivered the reason why they should get title shots. And that is by, just crushing their last opponents. I mean, they really showed us why, really just showed us why these guys, why they're the number one contenders, why they deserve to be in the conversation with the Georges St. Pierre or BJ Penn. And I applaud them for that. I mean, you can see Kenny Florian, he worked so hard on his game since losing to Sean Shirk. He's been blowing through his opponents. I mean, he's dominated Joe Lozon, he's dominated Roger Huerta, and he came into that ring and he just, everyone said that he'd be, that Joe Daddy had the strength advantage. Well, he clinched with Big Daddy, took him down, mounted him, got in dominant position, took his back and choked him out. He was a very, a good exclamation point. And now, that's over, I want to see Kenny Florian fight BJ Penn. I mean, now I feel I gotta wait for BJ Penn now. And that's how you get a title shot. I mean, you don't just get it by, beating this guy or the other or waiting in line. You do it by, you jump ahead of the line. You distance yourself from the pack so bad that you already look like a champion. I mean, Sean Shirk, he wants to fight Kenny Florian now. I mean, you got to put yourself out there. And that's the same thing with, Thiago Alves. I mean, he beat Carl Parisian. He came in with kind of a suspect showing against Matt Hughes because he didn't make weight. But he made weight against Koscheck, and he stuffed Koscheck's takedowns. He looked as impressive as he looked against Matt Hughes, dominating him. He looked, even more impressive, even more complete, even more of a threat against, Koscheck. Now, I want to see how he does against Georges St. Pierre. I mean, he can stuff the takedowns, he can throw the leg kicks, and he can punch. I mean, he's got great Muay Thai. I mean, so now we're going to see how this goes. I mean, you got to have, I have nothing but respect for Thiago Alves for, upping his game. putting himself in position for a title shot. And same thing with Florian. I mean, same thing with Rashad. You know, he's taking a lot of heat, you know, for being a lay and pray for that fight with Ortiz. But when the spotlight shined on him the brightest, I mean, he came out with his greatest performance. You know, knocking Chuck Liddell out and probably the knockout of the century, one of the sickest punches I've ever seen. You know, one of the sickest knockouts I've ever seen. I mean, and for all you Lyoto Machida fans, for all you Verdum fans, that's how you happen. That's how you get title shots. You don't get title shots by waiting patiently in line. You get it by by breaking the line, by putting yourself in a class by yourself. And you know, big props to Ken Flo, big props to Thiago Alves, and big props to Rashad Evans. You know, I can't wait to see how that goes down. And, you know, I'll be back with you probably in a little bit for some other stuff, but till then, you know, holla.